Hi there, Gemini, and welcome to your April reading. It's great to see everybody again. If you haven't been here before, let me just remind you that you can use this for your sun sign, your rising, as well as your moon. And if you want to watch for someone that you love, you can do that as well. I like to organize this reading into 3 parts each and every month. I'll start off with some channeled information, which we're going to get into in just a second. I follow that up with a Celtic cross, and then I expand the forecast each month to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny as well. So you get a really nice overview of everything that's going on for the month ahead. If you like what you see here, by the way, feel free to stick around until the end of the reading. I like to give some information at the very end on how you can book an appointment, join me on Patreon, and also join me on social media. I'll put a little bit of that here right now, but I'd love to get straight into the forecast because I know that's why you all came here. So without any additional delay, let's talk about the channeled information. I arrive at that by selecting a deck of cards and meditating on each sign. And when I do that, I get some unique information. It's either in the form of an image, a word, or a feeling, and sometimes it's a combination of all of the above. For your sign, as soon as I put the deck down and began to meditate, I saw what looked like a rope, and I was really focusing on the knot, like it was tightening. And the message was to sort of let go and allow it to unravel. Then I saw sort of that knot superimposed over the third chakra of body. And just so you know where that is, that's right around your belly, around the belly button area. And this can indicate for many of us issues with power, but it can also be about wanting to let something go, like to birth a project or to allow for something creative in your life to be expressed. So in the case of relationships, what could be existing here, what I could see for some of you is a cord attachment to someone where there's a blockage. So if you're not really familiar with how etheric cording works, since we're in the age of computers right now, it's very much like an interface cable, right? Like either if you're going to put a USB cable between 2 devices and they can communicate, to break it down on a very sort of basic level, that's what these cords look like. But they're very much invisible to most of us. If you are able to see auras, if you're able to meditate and kind of perceive where it is, or if you're empathic like I am, sometimes you can feel where the cords exist. So the main purpose of the cord, much like some sort of an interface cable that you put between a computer and a device, is so that energy can be exchanged. It's meant to be a good thing, an open connection. Almost all of us, the one space that we can't really shut it down is our heart space. We can connect with someone and send unconditional love and receive unconditional love. The heart space and the heart cords are almost always good. But we can cord other areas, including what I was mentioning here, your solar plexus. The first and most basic connection that we have is the one with our mother when we're born. So a lot of times this connection can still be with parents and brothers and sisters, or your mother in particular. So if you're feeling any sort of sense of anger, resentment, worry, frustration, and it's coming from that familial connection, what you'll want to do is do a little bit of healing there. Look back and see, is there anything that you're holding on to? Are you just in a family where people around you sometimes kind of close in and need a lot, and it's sort of strangling you out a little bit, not allowing you to be as free as you want? Whatever it is, find the source, take a nice deep breath, and then from your end, I want you to imagine that you're unplugging or releasing the cord. And then know that that's actually enough to let it go. If the other person wants to keep trying, all you have to do then is to seal off that connection and say, you're not allowed into my energy sphere without permission. I hereby clear and bless that former connection that we have. And by cutting this cord, I'm allowing us to create better and healthier connections in the future. Just because you cut someone's cord doesn't mean that you cut them out of your life. It means that you're removing something that, just like that knot that I saw, it might be blocked. Or if you imagine like the pipes in a house, sometimes they have calcium and mineral deposits, or they rust. They're not effective anymore. So what I want you to do is sort of remove the existing connections so that you can make better ones. You can choose to record if you want to, or you can just kind of be free. And I think that this month, you really want to be untethered. That was the message that I got. Focusing again on the solar plexus area and clearing that out. You can do a lot of basically healing in your life, allowing you to embrace new things. It's sort of like the Fool energy will come in. You'll be able to walk, you'll be able to move, you'll be able to embrace these new projects and opportunities and relationships and everything that wants to kind of flow in. So that's something to think about. And take a look at my YouTube channel or my website and do a search for contract release. and you can put my name with it if you're looking at YouTube, and it should pop up. And that's an even deeper way to do it with someone that you feel like you might have past life karma with, a soulmate or a best friend or a family member, where it's really deep. This is a way for you to release all contracts so that you can kind of hit the reset button and figure out if they still need to be energetically in your life. So there's a lot of ways that you can do cord cutting, visualizing Archangel Michael coming through, just disconnecting the way that I was talking about, or verbally using words and saying, I release you from my mind, body, and spirit, and I bless the two of us so that we can be free. This freedom is my gift to you. Another way to cut the cords is simply to use light. I like to imagine sometimes that I'm a star, and I focus maybe first on, I have these candles burning behind me. You could start it with a small little flame, and then you could imagine that it starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can feel the energy and the brightness going through you until it severs all the connections around you, allowing only this beautiful light that you've created from your own energy to be there. And that's another way that you can do it. If you can, you're raising your frequency, and you raise it so high that these lower frequency connections can't be attached to you anymore. So there's so many ways to do it, but you do need to look at some energetic clearing this month, particularly in the third chakra or your solar plexus, and this is really going to help you overall. The second thing that I want to cover is that if there's something that you've been wanting or needing to do, or that in this lifetime you've contractually sort of obligated yourself to do, this is reminding you that as soon as you allow that to happen, you're going to get this feeling of being free. And so if you're an artist like me, this might be putting your energy into your art. If you have this desire to create, the reason you feel it there is just like an expectant mother, you have this energy that wants to be birthed. So honor that, and you'll feel the release happen there. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the Celtic cross. I'd like to remain quiet at this point so I can pay attention to the cards and also receive information. Right after I have laid out all the cards, I'll talk to you and go one by one through each of them and relate them to what it means for you this month. Your catalyst this month is this beautiful movement card here, as represented by the fish. Now, the fish card was reversed, but let's look at it in the upright position. Normally, I would see this as things going the way that you expect them, as being able to allow energy, thoughts, opportunity, resources, all of this to sort of flow through your life. The reversal of this card is showing that for some of you, much as I was picking up on, there could be a blockage. It could be someone in your life that's making things difficult. It could also be your own energy. And what's necessary is a little bit of a push. This is going counter to the current flow, or it could be for some of you a course correction. And that's the main message that I see here. This card can also be connected with divinity. And with this, you can infer that there is some sort of guiding force that's helping you. And the interesting thing is that in your ego position this month, we have movement, the Chariot, reversed. And both of these cards are basically showing that there's a need to change direction a little bit or change focus. So as we look at all of the cards this month, more will come to light, and I'll refer back to that card as necessary. By the way, there's an obvious connection with perhaps a Pisces in your life, and they could be that catalyst or change agent for you. So see how that works for you. But let's go ahead now and start with the center card, which was a great one. We have the Ace of Pentacles here. For many of you, this could be a month of beginnings. Beginning a new job, beginning a new sort of project or relationship. A lot of times if I'm doing a relationship reading and someone is thinking of a proposal or is wondering if someone's interested, the Ace of Pentacles can indicate mutual interest or mutual agreement upon something. So great time to start new things, and that's why we see that coin right in the middle of a tree, which is showing a period now of growth for many of you, which is great. What's interesting though is that it's being modified by the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups comes at a time when we sometimes aren't sure of why we're on a certain path or if we're happy, and you can find yourself sort of contemplating and thinking of this sort of phrase where the grass is always greener on the other side. So I want you to really check that out. See if it's just a case of maybe not understanding all the blessings in front of you, or if you truly have your heart, your mind, and your energy set on something else. If you do, both of these cards are showing that it's okay to change your mind. It's better to change it now than when you get later very much invested in it. And that's why it's modifying a card that can show commitments as well, the Ace here, the Ace of Pentacles. So do a little bit of soul searching and see if your heart is truly in the whatever it is that you're investing in, a relationship, an opportunity, a business. You have to make sure that you feel it before you go further. One other thing that comes with this is that there's hidden blessings this month, and because it's right on top of an ace, there could be some sort of unseen way that you could make money. There could be an opportunity to grow or get ahead at your present place of employment, or there could just be something really beautiful that wants to come through and emerge. The question is, are you ready for it? Because if your heart's shut down, if your eyes aren't, or kind of have this sort of razor focus or blindfolds on, they're not going to perceive it. And that's why you'll always see that fourth cup right in the periphery, right out of the field of vision. You have to be perceptive and open in order to sort of grab that beautiful opportunity that is waiting and wants to be received. All right, let's look at your deep past and see what has sort of set up all of the energy this month. The good news is many of you have done a great job of making connections with people. The Four of Wands is a marriage card, a partnership card, friendship. It's great for starting a new business. The card is reversed here, which is showing me that I feel like a lot of you have done maybe more for others than for yourself, and there's a chance to balance it out. If you find yourself on the flip side of that coin, that's okay, but basically seeing that in the past and seeing the Four of Cups here modifying the center, it's important to get back to normal. So wherever that imbalance exists, try to find the balance again so that you're not sort of getting angry or feeling resentment, because the Four of Cups can also indicate that. Now, again, some of you might have just gotten married or started this new engagement, business, friendship, or otherwise. Even a commitment, maybe deciding to start a new program, whether it's extracurricular or school program. If you find yourself in either of these situations, it actually looks really great, so just continue on course. For many of you, one of the biggest challenges could be working through either politics or bureaucratic circles, or even trying to overcome other people's preconceptions. We have the Hierophant here, which is in the recent past, so for many of you, you're already aware of this, but it can indicate, just as the title said, traditions or very conservative viewpoints. So one of the things that you might feel like you have to sort of push past is this old way of thinking or doing something. It's up to you to follow that if that feels good to you, but know that you're going to have to pick your moment, pick your words, pick your timing, and figure out how you can convey this. Or, if you've ever taken a debate class, it's really important to concede to what the opposition might be thinking. So if you have to get an approval, or if you have to talk to someone who's really closed-minded, it could be your father, it could be your mother, it could be a boss, whoever it is that has this sort of authority type energy or very sort of conservative energy, always want to start with respecting who they are and where they're coming from, and then offering them a different point of view, but not telling them what to do. There'll sort of be this need to dance through this. Again, I've seen this in a couple of signs. I feel like there's a little bit of politics, a little bit of tradition for many people to overcome. Once you do this, however, there is room for growth. And your crowning card this month is the Nine of Pentacles, which is fantastic for independence, for growth, etc. But it is one that is muted because we have it in reverse. And so this is showing that you'll have to, many of you, stand up for yourselves in order to get this independence. But once you do it, wow, it's a great feeling, and it's totally worth whatever energy was necessary to go into this. In fact, when I'm looking at your near future here, we have the Queen of Cups. She is in reverse, but I feel like that's because there's this the sort of decompression that's going to happen for many of you this month. To that end, I think it's really important that you spend whatever time is necessary to sort of heal yourself, whether that means doing something that just is expressive, a creative endeavor, or talking to someone, or just kind of having time to meditate. That's going to be really important. So while we're on the topic of emotions, I just want to highlight 3 cards that are showing how your energy and emotions are going to be affected by the moon this month. The 4 of Cups has a crescent moon in it. The fish card that we looked at the beginning has another crescent. So the energy there showing that some of the tumult, some of the difficulties you could be experiencing could actually be right around the new moon, which I believe is around the beginning of the month. And then things seem to improve for you right around the full moon. Now, as we look at your ego card this month, we have movement here, and it's indicated by the goddess Rhiannon. And the interesting thing with this is that she's just pulling one horse. And the card is reversed. So this means that for some of you this month, you may find yourself in a situation where you're challenged to lead the charge. And this could mean at work, for instance, people are depending on you to make a decision. And if you're someone that is used to having someone else step in, or if you think that someone needs to approve it, you may have to sort of step out on your own this month. This also means that for many of you, you need to pick a direction or make a decision. And the other thing that I can kind of see with this is that unified support is important. So when we were talking about maybe needing to work through a hierarchy or a structure or a conservative sort of community or family around you, once you've done that, then you have the ability to move forward, and it's amazing. If you can't get what you need, though, there's also this sort of push from the universe to see if that's what you want. Maybe it's time to break free, because right above this, we have Justice in reverse, which is usually about divorce, separation, moving on, but it can also be a card of freedom. And once you've made a decision, there's this sense of freedom and opening that happens within you. And again, I get a sense of release. This one is happening right around the full moon. And for many of you, this is also a reminder to put up some limits around friends and family, because in its upright position, it's wonderful. It's about having all of these people around you that are there, they're supporting you. But the reverse is sort of a question to you. How much of your time, how much of your energy are you giving to others? And is it being reciprocated? Do you feel balanced? How much of your time are you putting in extracurricular activities? And once you've found a balance, the month ends on a very positive note here. We have the King of Wands. This is the ultimate card for management, for control, for coming up with ideas, and it is a nice counter to the Hierophant. I think these are evenly matched. So whatever sort of conservative nature here or traditional values are going through, I feel like you'll have a way to work through those to meet the challenge, to be able to overcome it. And the other piece of this is just, it's a really good time to organize your life, whether it's your finances, your house, your just a to-do list of things that you want to accomplish. Get as organized as possible and take advantage of that energy. Sort out your emotional stuff towards the beginning and middle of the month, and at the end of the month, you're going to be ready to be very productive. And the crowning card was the Nine of Pentacles. So I think you're going to be able to handle any opportunity that comes your way, but much better at the end than the beginning. So work on cord cutting, the putting up of limits and boundaries between you and family, and also if there needs to be a course correction in your life, if you're not feeling attached to whatever you're doing, this is also a chance to liberate yourself and walk away from it. So you have to believe in what you're doing before you really can reap the benefits of this Ace of Pentacles card at the center. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at your health card. For me, health includes mind, body, and spirit. So let's see what the message is for you this month. All right, we have listen. The message here is 2 or possibly 3-fold. The first message is to listen to yourself. Is there something going on in your mind, in your body, in your energy that just feels a little bit off? If there is, then this is the time to take action. And listen can indicate that for some of you, you might want to go to a therapist, someone that can hear you out. There were a lot of emotional cards this month that could indicate that that would be a great way to sort of work through some of the emotional baggage that you might be dealing with or some of the challenges in your environment. This can also be a card that's just nudging you to go to a doctor. And if there's something, again, that doesn't feel right and you want to just get a physical or get something checked out, have someone hear your concerns and hopefully give you the point of view that you need. The other thing is that you might be called upon in your friend or family circle to listen to others. So listening is going to be the most powerful tool that you have at your disposal for overall health in your mind, in your body, and in your spirit. I want to talk a little bit about that last part. We mentioned earlier that fish can indicate the presence of spirit, of God, of the divine. And for many of you, this is a month where meditation can be extremely powerful, particularly around those 2 lunar cycles that we were talking about. If you're either at the full moon or the new moon, I feel like a lot of you could receive guidance, information, and also that release that you're looking for right around this time. If you don't already have a meditation practice, this is a great month to begin, and sometimes less is more, particularly if you do it more consistently. So I would love for many of you to try to set aside maybe 2 minutes a day. It can be right before you go to sleep, or if you're afraid that you'll fall asleep while meditating, you can do it maybe in the morning while you're taking a shower, or even brushing your teeth. But I prefer it to be quiet, so right before you go to bed is perfect. And you could set a little bit of an intention for a restful sleep. You could also open yourself up for insights or intuition. And if you start doing this regularly, Spirit understands then, hey, this person's starting to tune in. I can be more present in their life. I can help them more. You have to show up, or else Spirit doesn't know that you're ready. And the more consistently you do it, particularly if you do it certain days or nights of the week or certain times of the day, then all of a sudden things start to open up for you. So that's a little tip on how to expand your intuition. Do small amounts and do it more frequently, and you're going to probably see more of a benefit. All right. Let's look now at wealth and see what's coming through for your opportunities. It can be money, it can be work, it can just be self-worth. So we have a card here that really shows a connection to what we were just talking about. We have prayers, which I connect to intention, to visualization, and I think it's really important for you to know what you're doing and to also feel that sense of passion. Again, connecting both the 4 of Cups up to the Ace of Pentacles. If you are presented with an opportunity and it really feels good, nothing's going to hold you back. But if you feel this sense of wondering, I don't know, this probably isn't what I want to do, but there's a lot of money, or people think it's what I should do, or I'm being pushed into this, that's when you have to pause and really sort out if you would be happy at the end of this experience, and also, are you being fair to others? The other thing about this is once you start to believe in yourself, then opportunities start to open up, and you sort of see this momentum build in your life. So I want you, in your meditation practice, in your prayers and intentions, to start to, it's almost like you can see it, hear it, taste it, feel it, whatever this sort of future is that you want, whether it's success, a relationship, some sort of a shift in your energy or in your life. Really start this on a daily practice. Start manifesting it, start believing it, and you will see a shift, and you'll no longer be the 4 of Cups. You're going to be the 10 of Cups, which is what we saw here in the opportunity space. So it's very telling that it's there. And it's also very telling that it was connected to an upright King of Wands, which is all about the power of the mind to help bring in the sort of physical around you. So metaphysical meeting physical. All right. Let's look now at love and see what the energy and information around relationships is for this month for your sign. So your message this month is things are not always what they seem. You'll notice there's a little butterfly in the corner, and actually there's a couple of them, and it looks like she's being sort of drawn towards some sort of shiny object. And so I want you to really look at I think for some of you, this is the Ace of Pentacles that we saw at the center. And it's interesting, I didn't even notice that there were, looks like dragonflies around this one. But I don't want you to get distracted by something that looks beautiful. I want it to feel wonderful, beautiful, and fulfilling for you as well. So I think that that perception card ties directly to the 4 of Cups. Things have to really resonate with you this month. And I think the way to get through to that feeling of truth is through your own meditation, through also listening to how you feel and what your feelings are and what your intuitive downloads are. So don't second guess yourself. But know that just because something looks good doesn't mean that it is necessarily good for you, or just because your family or your friends or society is pushing you to do something, it doesn't mean that you have to do it either. Let's look at your destiny card. For me, destiny is a GPS. It's a way to sort of have wayfinding and figure out, are you happy on this path or do you want to course correct? The message that we receive in this card will help you no matter which way you want to go. The card says, softly, softly, the tender touch. This is really reminding you to be kind to yourself, but also to be kind to others. It's so easy when things are difficult in our life sometimes to cast judgment upon people around us and just blame them, and sometimes to just be as critical towards ourselves. This is about understanding, especially if there's some emotional stuff going on, some challenges between you and others, or just a feeling of emotional heaviness, which, by the way, may not be all your own energy, because we were talking about that cord. Just gently work through this and know that by the month's end, it feels like you are in a place of feeling back to normal and that you're on top of things. But it takes time. It also is showing that if there is some sort of a nuanced conversation that you have to have with somebody, it's better to try to do it from a place of respect and kind of gently moving through it than to just sort of like go straight on in and say, I need this change, you need to make this decision. It becomes too much. So overall, the energy of this month is very gentle. It's also very psychic because we have messages of listening, of praying, of focusing on perception. All of your messages, all of the energy is subtle. There's a lot of cups cards that came through. So your emotions, your feelings, and your intuition, it's going to color everything. So take your time, be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others, and know that slow and steady here this month is going to win the race. And I think that's what we're seeing also with this movement card. You may not always perceive the movement that's happening, but trust that it is. And once you sort of let go and again, sort of surrender a little bit to the divine and surrender to your intentions and know that they're actually manifesting, then the universe is going to pick up the pace and things are going to improve. All right, let's go ahead now and bring everything that we talked about into focus here and review at the end. I want to start with the channeled information. I've talked about untethering yourself. For some of you, this can literally mean sort of a connection that you have with someone in your life, and we talked at great length about how you could remove that. It could also be a connection to something that just doesn't feel right anymore. And that was something that we saw here in the Four of Cups. You might have an opportunity that looks good on the surface, but just isn't resonating. So free yourself from these things. And that also is what the environment card is showing here with justice. So you may need to walk away from a person, a place, or a thing this month. And even if others in your life, your family, your friends, society doesn't understand, if it feels good on a heart level, you know you're making the right decision. Your catalyst this month was to know that counter movement that you're making is probably fine if it feels right, but also to kind of just open up to spirit. It wants to come through this month, and through meditation, it's very much possible here. So we have both listening and praying as being a way to do so. So just know that that's there if you want it. We have the Ace of Pentacles. A new opportunity is presenting itself this month. Just feel it out on a heart and soul level and see if it makes sense. You've done a lot of work for others. We have the Four of Wands and also the Ten of Cups here. The question is, are you getting what you need out of it? If not, that could explain why the Four of Cups is here. Tradition, hierarchy, and sometimes even politics are at play at the beginning of the month. Fight for what's important, because there is this sense of relief and joy that happen once you've overcome that obstacle. And for some of you, the obstacle can simply be walking away, as we see here with justice. Movement's happening, but the speed with which it's happening may not feel like it's sort of copacetic with you. So just give yourself that gentle nudge in the direction that you need, and know that the universe really is there to support you and is working with you. As we look at the outcome card here, we have the King of Wands, which in and of itself is a fantastic card showing that what you should try to be working on over the course of this month is organization. Do you understand where you're at with your money, what your goals are? I would take time over this month and get everything organized while you're working through some of these other things. In the expanded forecast, we have a message to listen to your body, to make sure that if you need someone to listen to you, that you do that, and also to make some time for meditation. In your wealth area, we're talking all about the power of projection of tuning in, of manifestation, a real close connection to what we saw, in fact, in your health area. In wealth, knowing that what you see isn't always what you get. And for some of you, that's really the central focus this month, is understanding who you are, what you want, what you're trying to do, and if what's being presented at the beginning of the month really resonates with you. Finally, approach everything this month with a gentle energy, knowing that you can't force things. You can't force the timing. You can't force how you feel, just like that song, I Can't Make You Love Me If You Don't. It's the same sort of thing. If you don't love something, or if you're not enamored with something, you can't actually fake that emotion. So honor that. And once you do that, I feel like everything starts to really come back into a normal flow. It's at this point that you're truly free and that you're truly feeling that sense of being untethered. So that brings your monthly reading to a close. I hope that you got the guidance that you needed to move forward through this month. But if you ever feel like you want to talk about something that's going on, maybe it's a decision, something with a relationship, or spiritual development, feel free to reach out to me. The first card and the first link below the video will contain a link that will allow you to connect with my booking site, and you can check out my rates and availability there. So if that makes sense, I'm here for you. Otherwise, if you'd simply like to say thank you for all of the work that you see here, there's a really easy way to give back. You can click on the second card or the second link, which will take you to my website. From there, you can either do a one-time donation or join me on Patreon and do an ongoing donation. And this goes directly towards helping me purchase supplies and, most importantly, simply setting up the time to do videos like these. So it really does make a difference, and it's a great way to exchange energy. So if you want to do that, I'm going to say thanks in advance. And for any of you that have done this in the past, know that you made these videos possible, so thank you so much. The third and final way that you can really make a difference in the health of this channel is by sharing what you see here. Please, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, do that now. And also feel free to join me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I also have a newsletter if you'd like to subscribe. The third card and the third link will take you to my site, and you can connect on all of those different mediums and also do the newsletter subscription. But it's the sharing that means the most, because the whole purpose for me coming here each month is to really help ignite the light in all of us, to create light workers on the planet, so we can sort of bring light where there's otherwise sort of fear, frustration, some of those lower frequency energies. So every time you share, it not only helps me, but it helps other people. And so that's a wonderful way to show support. And I want to also thank you for that, especially if you don't have the resources or just don't feel inclined to donate. That one small act of kindness makes a big difference for me. So thank you. I'd like to end every video with something that is sign specific, a message that will help you really embrace what's coming through. And I want to go back to the catalyst for you, because I feel like the flow of energy and opportunity is there. There may be a lack of recognition or sometimes a lack of trust, but I want you to know that you have the power to create a beautiful change this month. What's most important is, do you feel authentic with what's going on? Do you feel like this is whatever's going on in your life is holding you back? And if it is, there's a clear indication that it's all right for you to move on. And that's really what Justice was encouraging you to take a look at. Balance things out, balance yourself out, and know that this is going to allow you to shine brightly. It's going to allow you to move forward, and know that that movement is happening even if it's very subtle. As we saw at the end, everything is happening in a very gentle, very soft sort of way. So I'm just here to remind you that you're making progress, and I'm really happy, and also I'm here cheering you along, hoping that you can get past whatever challenges are in your way, okay? Take care of yourself. Thank you so much for allowing me to spend the last half hour or so with you, sending you love, light, and abundance now and always. I'll see you again next month, okay? Bye-bye.